And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crisis 169, aka Mark, coming to you live with the power of the internet. I'm here, you're there. First off, I'd like to say my last video was hitting kind of rough for a lot of people. I know people were kind of not really watching it, and I get it. I get why. Just checking some stuff from family here, message from family. See what's going on here. Seeing what's going down here. Okay, check what's going on with family here. Sorry, guys. Okay, make sure to put there so they can message me. I can get to it quick. Anyway, though, yeah, family thing going on. Nothing serious. But anyway, though, nothing serious right now. But thank you guys for watching my channel. Thank you guys for being a part of my channel for the last since 2013. So it's been 10, 11, I've been 12, 13 years. It's been 13 years I've been doing this channel. And this is actually the longest season I ever done. Thank you whoever watching. I don't know who it is in the show. No response from my family yet. So anyway, though, I like I said, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the phone because I have my family responding to me. I know it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but still, first thing going on. But anyway, though, nothing serious, nothing really bad. Just some arrangements going on. Anyway, though, I made a video yesterday. You know, who does it hurt? Charlie Kurt, his birth and death. It's down below or around here somewhere. Go ahead and watch that video. Um, I made that video. I want to sneeze, but I can't sneeze. I'm making a video. Um, I made that video because it needed to be made. I waited about a week after he was killed. Um, Today is actually his week anniversary of his assassination. Um, so I'm not really going to talk about that as much as the topic today's video. Today's video is going to be, drumroll please, Who Does It Hurt? Season 2, Episode 5, Violence in Video Games. Is there any truth to this claim? Let's talk about it. I put down the video game violence, video games, gaming community, Charlie Kirk, Columbine, Doom, Helldivers 2, Mortal Kombat, um, and stuff like that. I did that because the whole situation, Columbine, was Eric and Dylan were bullied and they went after their bullies and made them pay. Well, that was a bunch of crap. They just wanted to kill people because they were sociopaths and angry depressant. And that been unraveled probably within the first year. That whole narrative was unraveling. And journalists now are getting better, not running around with this stuff, saying, "Hey, let's actually try to do some journalist stuff, right?" Um, so now with the shooting, Tony Kirk happened last Wednesday. Um, the media that really cared about this, and very few, because a lot of left-leaning media was not going to talk about this. But if Trump guy killed him, it'd be all over the news. But because it was some person who trans boyfriend who didn't like the fact that Charlie Kirk made some speeches he didn't like, he shot him. Charlie Kirk said it best: when we stop talking, then we start shooting each other, and that's really what's happening. I mean, right now. And I talked about the movement yesterday that started because of that. I'm not going to go on the detail because it's down below. Down below, watch down below. Um, that's why I have videos everywhere. You can watch them after you're done with this one, or watch it before you watch this one. Either way, you won't wait after the live stream is done to watch it. Hey, cool. A lot of people do that. A lot of people don't like watching live stream. They like watching it after the fact, so they can fast forward and pause at will, and that is fine. I'm all for that. But there is thing going on here that needs to be addressed. No, looking at nothing wrong. Um, is there violence in video games? Of course there is. It'd be kind of hard to sell football tickets if football tickets for your favorite team if they go out in the field and they just stand there and stare at the other team and don't do anything for over an hour. You want violent contact. You want that raw, and hitting each other and brawl. You want all that. Why? Because it gives get your stamina going, it gets your heart rate going, it gets you're in the zone when you're playing or in the stands watching. or two boxers boxing. That violence is okay. Football and football and boxing are okay for violence because they're violent sports. They're violent, very violent sports. They're hands on, boxing gloves or with pads, uh, and you're boxing each other in the face or you're running into each other with 300-pound guys a full dead, a full dead run. The difference between that and games are video games. You're playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, that's another Twitter too. Well, um, 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 you're playing as Grand Theft Auto 5 character. You can kill prostitutes, run people over, shoot police, go completely crazy, steal a jet, crash into a building, crash into the ground, jump out of it, and splatter on the ground if you want to. Or you can go into a military installation, steal a chopper, and just gun everything down and have the military after you in the fall 5-star one levels and do all that crap. And then magically die or pass out. You can and you walk out of the hospital without or police station if if you surrender without a scratch. Now, if you surrender, you lose your weapons and some money, more money. If you get in the hospital, you still have weapons and lose some money. Um, that being said, though, that is what the games are. The games are a virtual simulator of a world that doesn't exist. Video games are a world that doesn't exist. Now, to the outside world, gaming does not exist in the outside world. I never seen a guy, a plumber, jump on a Goomba, walking down the street. I never seen Master Chief run around except one player who plays do the crossplay, run around, and shooting a brute. I've never seen um I've never seen, you know, any God of War character or any, other character in video games run around doing stuff in real life. It just doesn't happen. You're not gonna have Halo Master Chief jumping around. You're not gonna have, you know, Rainbow Six Siege type of gameplay going on unless the SWAT team is going to get somebody. But the video games where we play, the adventure games we're playing, are violent, yes. Now you're gonna have Jill Valentine shooting zombies and running from Nemesis, out your window, looking at Nemesis running by, chasing Jill, and that's not gonna happen unless it's a cross play. And why cross playing outside in your window is beyond me. But stay with me, hear me out, my video, deal with it, kind of thing. Okay, so the only time I see that kind of stuff is, I go to anime conventions. I don't go to very many of them because I'm usually working when they're on. But I've seen them before, and I know what they have there, crossplay stuff. Pretty cool though, actually. Pretty cool. A friend of mine I've known is very heavy in crossplay. She likes it a lot, and that's cool. That's what she does. Um, but no, I never saw this person running around in a CrossFit outfit, running from Nemesis or trying to be, Mrs. Captain America or Wonder Woman. These characters in video games and TV are characters. The actor who plays Batman, Christian Bale or Michael Keaton or whoever others, are not really Batman. Michael Keaton is not putting on the bat suit right now, having a bat thing shooting up in Gotham City. He is not doing that. It's a video game. It's a movie. Okay, that's what it is. We need to separate reality from fiction here. But a lot of people can't do that. The shooter that killed Charlie Kirk, assassinated Charlie Kirk, had arrows pointed in the way of a stratagem. This person played Helldivers 2. I think it was up, up. I think it was dash, dash. That was right, right, and three downs, and then that's for a 500 kiloton. Uh, I know it because I use it all the time for one of my main stratagems. Um, that being said, is that, oh my god, we have to ban Helldivers 2 now? No. How about Borderlands 4? How about Borderlands series? Violence and Air. Once again, it's cartoony. Helldivers 2 is a cartoony utopia military type of government entity. It's based upon Starship Troopers, Terminator, and War of the Worlds. Three genre movies that I like a lot. Starship Troopers is a no authoritarian government. We have to become a citizen. You have to serve in the military to become a citizen. The old line says service guarantees citizenship. Uh, if you're not a citizen, then you don't have the rights of a citizen. You can't have a child. You can't do this. Can't do that because you're not a legal citizen. But you serve in the forces, armed forces. You guarantee citizenship if you serve. Then no more than 2 years. Once again, that's Sergeant Troopers right there. The point that I'm trying to say, guys, is this: video games are no more realistic than real. Okay, yes, 8K is brilliant. I've seen 8K television screens. I've seen 8K or 4K OLED monitors, one with the highest graphics card. It looks real, but it's not actual real. Video games are not real. They are a virtual pixelated image put on your screen with lights and magic, with processors and with graphics cards. Mostly video games, like your Doom games with processors, graphics cards like that, and it's based upon a narrative of saving the world. Once again, I have games listed below here. You have Doom. You're a marine antagonist. You're killing demons in Doom. Now, the newer Doom's pretty good. The older ones were based upon children my age, people my age. Um, but newer Dooms were a lot better because they're graphically a lot better, a lot more violent. Trust me. When shooting Doom, when you're shooting a demon on Doom on the PC, the old PC, the old game, the DOS, what you want to call it, what it was called back then. You're raw. That's a male camel in heat. I'm not making this stuff up. You can look up yourself if you want to. I found out I almost fell out of my chair when I realized that because it sounded weird. And the cardboard cutouts would lay down. Their 3D images lay down. Doom 2016, you chainsaw a demon in half, rip its in, rip its spine out and stuff. Graphically, games are more violent. Yes, but I've been playing games, guys, longer than a lot of you guys have been on this planet. But I'm not running around shooting up schools. I'm not killing the political, people or um, advocates or people who believe in certain things that I don't. I don't go shooting up, a transgender, society because I don't care or agree with their, indoctrination of whatever they're doing. But it doesn't mean I'm going to do it because, I'm not a loon. I may not like what they're doing. I think it's abomination, but I'm abomination too. I have gluttony, big fat guy. So, we all have our sins, right? So, but I don't go shooting up places, and you don't either. If you're a gamer and you have a right mind, you don't do shooting up places. The only people who shoot up places are people who are mentally ill and have serious problems and already have demonic possession, and they're into that weird stuff. This person that shot and killed Charlie Kirk came from a conservative family. He was a very conservative person. Went to college, got indoctrinated with this nonsense, found a guy who was transgender into a woman, became a person's boyfriend, and the rest is history. The text message the person did said how you hate Charlie Kirk, hate all this hate speech, blah blah blah. He's doing that is as somebody who's already stewing about nonsense. I can sit here all day long and tell you how I don't like Islam or Hinduism. It doesn't mean that I know anything about those religions. I don't. Or those individuals who practice it. I just hate it because it's not it. Well, that's not an art. That's not a valid argument. People who need to talk about video games need to discuss more than just the blood and guts. A lot of people, oh, you're in it for the story. Yes. It's like what no, like one word, like, well, no, it's like reading a porn magazine and only interested in the articles. Some people read articles first in porn magazines, believe it or not. I have friends of mine who dove into pornography crap, and they read a lot of articles, they read a lot of stuff, and they got a lot of stuff into it and that stuff because that's their fathers watch that stuff, and and their brothers did. So whatever, I'm not gonna talk about that. But the biggest thing is this: violence in video games have been going together like motherhood and apple pie. Okay, it's something that happens. Okay, you have violence on TV. Now they're gonna censor out every newscast. Of somebody getting smeared on the highway. Oh, look, a person got killed. We had 3 people that died in Clarksville today or yesterday, Tennessee. They showed the house, okay, and the road. Don't broadcast the violence then. Maybe maybe the person killed themselves, or maybe the son killed his parents, or vice versa. I'm not investigating. I'm not even going to try it to investigate it. What I'm saying is though, what caused that issue? Was it domestic violence? Was it domestic terrorism? Was it Al Qaeda? Well, who knows? But let's not show violence on TV from newscasts. You can't. Why? Because then newscasts go out of business. These newscasters go out of business and lose their jobs because without the no Boa had bleach blonde telling you what the plane crashed at 5 o'clock, with a gleam in her eye, you won't watch the damn news. That's just how it goes, folks. Violence sells. Sex and violence sell. Granted, I think it's wrong that we profit on people's death. But look at video games. You're the marine antagonist in Doom. You're ripping spines out of demons and shoving it in their throat, and you're the hero. You can be the most geekiest kid in high school, get picked on for being a dork. You go home and you're the master slayer of Doom, killing every demon in front of you, and says you're a winner in the end. That makes your day. Yes, but you're not going to school shooting the place up either. I think it's all about people's heart. What happened to Charlie? What happened to Columbine? What happened at Minnesota and other places in the last few months and few years is people allow demonic and allow negative influences into their lives. I can understand you can have a negative upbringing. Your mom's a crack whore. Your father is just absentee landlord. He's only there to to beat you every once in a while, or beat your mother once in a while, and he runs off and just pregnates the city. But it doesn't mean that you have to be that person too. You can be different. You can break the ties that bind and get out of that lifestyle. And a lot of people have. Or you can surrender to it and worship it as your god. That's the thing. In violent video games are no different than escaping your problems. I don't play video games when I have issues. If I have issues like my mom passed away, I didn't play any games at all for the longest time. Why? Because I was dealing with something I needed to deal with on my own. Yes, I made videos about it. I talked about it. I played some games, tried to play some games. I let PC on for like 2 weeks straight. With the Helldivers 2 sitting there playing, the main screen. I played it after we buried my mother. I started playing it again. Not because I didn't care about my mother or didn't. I know I had things to do. When someone passes away in your family, you start making phone calls. call insurance companies. My mom and dad had insurance stuff in different banks all over Florida. So we're calling banks trying to get information on the life insurance policy. They had like 1,000 here, 500 here, whatever there, and they had, it took a long time. Now my dad did most of the stuff. I mostly looked up stuff and gave it to him. He called me. He had to call him because his wife and all. I did mostly work on a computer. I mostly type on a computer, didn't look up stuff and get information for him because it keeps my mind occupied. You know, it took us until almost August to get everything taken care of. My mom died on February 28th. We buried her March 10th. So at almost the end of August, mid of August, we'll get the last thing done. So it's like, guys, there's things that happens. So when you play video games, it's not always because you're lazy. It's because you want to escape reality for a few hours and get out of the norm of the constant being bullied or having to bury your mother or bury your father or going to work and dealing with your boss who's crazy. Now, my boss is great, but hypothetical crazy. Employees are lazy. Once again, my employees I work with are great. I have no problem with them all. Um, I think I bug them more than anything else. I don't try to. I just, I sing a lot because I'm at work. I like to sing and listen to music and stuff while I'm working. So, but maybe they escape by doing the work a little faster. Maybe, I don't know. But I mean, we all have our days. And by doing that, by having a job that we may not like or may like, but maybe there's certain areas you don't like about your job or your family life or the school or whatever it may be, you come home play video games to escape that. Like I said, now you might love your school, love your family, but certain things are like, and this is kind of rough. Now you get a bad day at work. We all get one of those. You come home, you just take a bus and you run over people on Green 5. You mow them down. The cops chasing you, shooting at you. You're like, haha, this is awesome. And you're doing this in a video game. You're not doing it in real life. But I think a lot of people like, John F. Kennedy Jr. or whatever Robert what his name is, doesn't understand that video games have helped people. And before I close here in a few minutes, I'm talking about how it helped people. There are soldiers that have PTSD. Okay, it's happened in Germany, happened in the United States and England. They ran tests. They gave the PTSD soldiers, yeah, medication, depression medication to deal with their trauma, not drama, but trauma. The other half, the other, I think two or three of them, four of them, it was played violent video games. Whatever they wanted, they played. Can be can be Donkey Kong, can be Call of Duty, Halo, whatever. They chose to play Halo, Doom, games of that nature. By doing so, they're more focused. They're more focused on the task at hand. They're more driven. They had less anger spells when they died by getting killed by a demon or by the alien or whatever. They didn't freak out and punch the monitor or TV they're playing it on. They actually released their anger by playing the game and kept playing and playing and playing and playing until they just were exhausted where they couldn't no anger anymore. Uh, and that shows that gaming can calm the savage beast. If you're playing a game to relax, it will relax you. If you play a game on super helldiver mode and you're freaking twitching at work, yeah, you're gonna be twitching on the game because you're gonna die every few seconds. If you play it like on trivial or like on um, advanced or hard, yeah, you'll have a better time because you're allowed to kill the things and get the stress out, not be bombed and letting it out when you're playing games. So I don't think video games are now. Granted, the guys that took the medication had a lot harder time, longer recovery, but they recovered. Took longer. Now the guys playing video games were also given antidepressants or medication to deal with PTSD, trauma, and they a lot faster. And they showed charts saying it went a lot faster for them because they had an outlet for their anger and then lost their friends and may lost their marriage or whatever happened because of the military, and they had an outlet to let that anger go. And once they did, now they didn't play After they got better and went to counseling, they didn't play games much anymore. But they thanked the person, the scientists, the doctors who did this. And it shows that gaming can help. Reading a book helps too as well. Reading the Bible, reading a book, whatever you want to read something. Get your mind focused on something. That's why they always tell soldiers and people who've been through trauma, find a hobby, stick with it, work at it, because you keep your mind. Like I was told when my mom died, find a hobby. I play video games. Okay, that's a good hobby. What do you play? Doom, yeah, violent video games, blood and guts. And my dad's like, yeah, he does. Okay, my dad actually comes over sometimes too. I mean, over a lot more now since my mom passed away uh, than before. It's like, yeah, he's always playing, Doom and Kill and Helldivers, and he just plays this stuff. So well, that's cool. So did you read books? I read my Bible. Says, well, that's something. So I mean, I have an outlet of things I do, and I think that's something people need to understand. Not everybody's gonna have the quick fix solution. There's no push a button here to solve your problems overnight. Sorry, it just doesn't work. You have to solve your problems by finding your problems and noticing it and eliminating them. Now, you don't get to pick and choose what you want to do, my friend. It's you solve the problem or you let it fester. What happened with Eric and Dylan? What happened with one gentleman from Utah? It happened to a lot of other people at school like Virginia Tech and places like that. People let their hatred fester. They let it fester. Before you know, they're shooting somebody or killing 10, 15 people. And it's very dangerous because you don't know for sure this person had accomplished it or not. Because there's always something going on. That's why I always tell people that ask me for help is don't ask random people for help. Don't ask random people for help because it's very dangerous. You may not get the help you need. You might get used actually. You might get used. You may get used as a pawn or get used in some person's sick harebrained scheme or whatever fantasy to do something that you would normally do. Not nothing sexual or violent, but you might give money or do something that may not be a normal thing you do. To be very careful with how you talk to people, who you talk to. I always say, go to a church counselor, school counselor, or somebody who's a counselor or start a psychiatrist. Um, Most companies nowadays usually have a calm kind of place where you can talk to somebody on the phone or whatever. Um, and that's pretty cool though, actually. Um, I think it's a lot better for a lot of people to have that. Um, so in closing, we need to understand that there's more to life than just worrying about what we can't do. The video games in closing are no more violent than movies are or TV shows. But the difference is between violent TV show and movie and a game is you are the killer, you are the hero, you are whatever. And that's where I think a lot of these people get it halfway right. Yes, it is violent. Yes, you are killing. No, you're not going to be a 5-star murderer. But turn off the game, you're going to be bloodthirsty murderer, killing people in their house and running around and shooting up your neighborhood. No. If you are, you have a lot more problems in that video game, obviously, my friend. But I doubt that's not going to happen. If it does happen, then once again, you have a lot of problems in that video game. Get help. Seek help. Get help. If you don't, you're going to be on the news for shooting somebody. Hate to say it that callous way, but I'm being honest with you. No, I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you don't get help, you're going to be in the news, killing somebody. And that's sad because a lot of people don't understand this kind of stuff. They don't get why this person did what he needed to do, or did what he thought he needed to do. Let me rephrase my response there. That I think people need to understand that evil is always going to find some way to do evil. But I think it was Dr. King said it best. For good man to do nothing, that is evil. And Abe Lincoln always said, "You want to find out a man's no." As Abe Lincoln said, "For good men do nothing is evil. It's truly evil." And for Martin Luther King always said, "If you want to find out a man's character, then give him power." And that's true on both sides of the equation. So this is my video, guys. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you guys like my video. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. See you guys later. Peace out. God bless all you guys. Until next time. See you later.